transforming radical functions, or graphing radical functions. You'll be able to graph square roots and cube roots using the transformational approach that we learned back in Unit 2. So, what's up first? Well, first, square root function, cube root function. We've actually already talked about the square root function. Okay, that we talked about when we did transformation. So this is really a review. Here, the square root f of x, or y, is equal to square root of x. We start at 0. We go right 1, up 1. We go right 4, up 2. Why 4? Because the square root of 4 is the next nice number. Then we can go over 9 and up 3 because that's our next perfect square. And then graphs like this. The cube root function, and by the way, when you go right 1, up 1, right 4, up 2, there's no going left. It only goes one way. Now, when we get to the cube root function, a little bit different here. This bad boy, we start at 0, 0, because the cube root of 0 is 0. The cube root of 1 is 1. Then we have to go all the way out to 8 to get the cube root of 8 is 2. You don't really want to go out 27 to get to 3. Now, the thing of it is you can also do the cube root of negative 1 is negative 1, and the cube root of negative 8 is negative 2. It has point symmetry about the origin. So this looks like a lazy S. Do not confuse this with x cubed. X cubed, y equals x cubed, looks like this. Here, here, and then at 2 we go all the way up here at 8. Then we go over down to here, but then we go way down that way. So the cube root is going to look like this. It's going to be the S that goes high up and down real fast. So don't confuse cube root and cube. Okay? Now, we're going to fly through this. If you need it to go slower, you need to come in and see me or rewatch it or rewatch some of Unit 2, since this is all based off of Unit 2. Reflections. Okay? First off, a negative on the outside reflects it over the x-axis, upside down. So here we have the cube root is in blue. Okay? The cube root is in blue. If I do negative the cube root of x, the negative on the outside, I get this pink line. If I do the negative on the outside here, it just flips it again over the x-axis. Notice what's up here comes down here, here to below, below goes above, below goes above, and what was on the x-axis stays on the x-axis. Okay? Questions on that? Great. Oh, I don't even know why I'm asking if there's questions. There's nobody here. It's just me and my son's dog in the kitchen. So, square root function reflections over the y-axis. Now, when you reflect over the y, remember, here's the gray. That's the parent function. So if I'm 1 to the right, I go 1 to the left. 4 to the right, I go 4 to the left. And then I draw my curve. Now, what's interesting is, notice, I can't tell the difference between the negative being on the outside and on the inside, because this up here would reflect down here for negative on the outside, but on the inside it goes from here to here, here to here, from left to right, left to right. But notice the pink curve looks the same whether I did up and down or left or right. It's because it's got point symmetry. Right, left and right. Again, remember, x minus h. If h is positive, you've got x minus. If it's negative, you've got x plus. When h is positive, you go to the right, which is this direction. Left is this direction, as you're looking at the screen. So, I'll pause the video. You all can read it. The red is to the right, the blue is to the left. You should graph these on your paper. Next up, we've horizontally translated the cubic function. And again, you can pause the video and take a look at right is in red, left is in blue. Notice x plus 3, the same thing as x minus negative 3, so the h is negative. That would mean you go left. Going up and down is exactly what it looks like. Remember that you're adding to the value of y. So here, the red went up, the blue went down. And here's the vertical shift of a square root. Notice it's on the outside of the radical. So we went up 4 or down 3. Okay? And again, I'm not spending a whole lot of time explaining this because we've gone over it and over it and over it, and experience has shown me that you all usually get this. The biggest mistakes are making sure that you know what the parent function looks like. Okay? Horizontal stretching and horizontal compressing, again, think of it as exercise. Lots of exercise or a big number, you got skinnier, so you compressed by the reciprocal. Not enough exercise, you got fatter by the reciprocal. So, here we've got square root of x for square root 4x. This is compressed by 1/4. What that tells you is that you're going to go over 1/4 and up 1. Over 1 and up 2. Okay? Cube root, same kind of idea, over 1/4, up 1. And then instead of over 8, you're going to go over 2 to go up 2. 1/4 of 8 is 2. Okay? And usually we don't do things horizontally stretch and compress, but they could be. Okay, here we're going to stretch it. So we're going to start at 0, 0. We're going to stretch it out. So at 4 we go up 1. Horizontally stretch the cubic. Again, okay, go out 4, go up 1. Instead of 8 and 2, you're going to have to go out 32. So it's going to go a long ways. When you're graphing this, notice that my curve here doesn't just fly up here. It stays below where y is 2. Okay, vertical stretch and compress. It's exactly what it looks like. It's when you multiply on the outside. And you can pause the video and read the words. An example, stretched by 2. This pattern is 1, 1, 4, 2. 1, but if I'm going to stretch it by 2, I'm going to multiply each of these by 2. So I'm going to go over 1, up 2, over 4, up 4. Same thing here, except here we have 1, 1, 2, 8. If I stretch it by 2, right 1, up 2, right 8, up 4. And for this one, whatever I do on the right, I do the opposite on the left. Vertically compressed, right 1, up a half. Okay? Right 4 is supposed to be up 2, so it should be here at 1. I'm not just sure what happened. Maybe when I moved it onto here, somehow I stretched it funny. Okay? Vertically compressed, right 1, up a half, right 8, up 1. Got it? Again, these should be pretty easy. I would suggest you just pausing the video, making sure that you're graphing these correctly so you've got it as a reference. This is exactly what you had before. All the rules. Where the negatives reflect, adding and subtracting moves, multiplying stretches and compresses. Outside, Up, down affects the y, inside, left, right affects the x. That's all there is to this.